Recently I was talking to someone who said, I spent a lot of time on Reddit. Did you know this obscure fact about cheese? No, I didn't. Don't care. And it makes a lot of sense that you spend all of your time on Reddit. Not least and foremost because of your scent, which is a nice way of saying your horrific body odor, but also because if you are on Reddit, it's obvious to other people because your worldview becomes very narrow. Your identity keeps getting fed in. You know how everybody always says that social media is a bubble? I truly believe this about Reddit. You cannot get any more bubbly than Reddit. Because they seem to all just repeat whatever is in their bubble. The same phrases, the same jargon, the same lingo. All of that is regurgitated by these people. Their brain becomes that. It becomes a hive mind. It's super concentrated. And because there's this endless stimulation coming out of it, you're always looking for more updates from it, aren't you? Aren't you, you little shit? Yes, you are. And then what happens after that is that your brain keeps getting reinforced by the same... this is how bubbles work, right? Your brain keeps getting reinforced with the same information because it never really varies out of that. If somebody has new information in that Reddit page, they get downvoted very quickly. And so the people that keep going to the top, it really is like being a North Korean prison camp, except for without the horrific, agonizing torture. It's much worse being in one of those bubble places than a North Korean prison camp, is what I'm saying. I truly do think that it is, because at the very top of it are the people that just stand up in the prison halfway through and be like, the good leader is better than our leader. They're all saying what they want the prison guards to hear so that they get voted up further. So that view is always spouted. And so if you aren't in one of these bubbles, if you are in the bubble, it seems like it's making perfect sense, and you're just never going to convince the people that are in it. They're not even watching this at the moment. But to people that see it from the outside, they immediately see what the problem is within that bubble, right? And you can see it with everybody repeating the same things, and then everybody that is worse gets down the list. Having said that, people always say, yeah, there's great meme pages on Reddit. My retort to that is, even if you aren't in one of these echo chambers, and you are, but even if you aren't, my thing is Reddit becomes a place of rotation, and a place of rotation that you check when you have nothing else to check. You know what I honestly think? This is just a scope of the people that I've met in my life. I've got no polling for this, okay? Which all these dickheads on Reddit will just dismiss as, doesn't have polling. But if it did support what I was saying, I'd just put his anecdote to the top of the list. But it doesn't, so it doesn't have polling. But you know how they always have that, like, because this is the whole thing. The people that are on Reddit usually, God, I'm really insulting halfway orders here, but they are just pseudo-intellectuals. They're always using the phrase pseudo-intellectual as an insult. And say, have you looked in the mirror? They're usually the people that are. They're the people that just get like a very surface layer understanding of something and they don't delve any deeper into it. Honestly, the things that I have ever read on Reddit, I already knew or knew were incorrect about a subject. I don't think I've ever really learned that much from it. When people say, I learned a lot from it, you ask them for a few things about it. They'll have a couple of things that they just learned that day, but then the rest of it doesn't because it all just goes into a mishmash. That's the other thing that's really concerning about it, as opposed to what I'm always talking about, deep focus, focusing on one subject for a long period of time so you become an expert at it. I think that this kind of just keeps it at this skim of just you're throwing stones along the same pond. You don't want to go any deeper than that. If you go any deeper than that, it devolves into an argument. You feel bad anyway. It just deprives you of all of your serotonin, because this is the other problem with it. There is an endless swath of negativity coming your way, usually when you are on Reddit, isn't it? Unless you are saying exactly what the Reddit bubble wants, you will have a bunch of snarky fuckwits arguing with you that you can't change the mind of anyway, because they have become zealots, really, to the cause of nothing, because nobody outside that bubble cares. That's the other thing. Inside the bubble, it really feels like that's the entire universe, which is the other scary thing, because I know this from the imprints of just thinking about a subject for a certain period of time. Obviously, the one that I'm going to go to now, because I'm obsessed with it, it's pretty obvious from this in Neil and Jordan podcast, Byzantines, right? I go through my entire life being like, oh yeah, I wonder what Basil II's favourite dinner was, and like that. I'm walking around in 2022 No one even knew who Basil II was to begin with, right? Like, Basil II is a really bad example because you go on Reddit and they'll just be like, Bulgar Slayer, but I'm just up to that period at the moment, okay? It was just a coincidence. I could have used Constantine the Fourth. Anyway, look, yes. So, you're going through your life like that, and it becomes an imprint of what you think everybody else is thinking about, and what becomes socially acceptable within that bubble you think works outside the bubble, and when it doesn't work outside the bubble, you're just like, it's because everyone else is stupid, and then you go further into it. Really is just a digital cult, essentially. That's what's happened there. Digital cult. As such, I really am just only speaking to the people that are sort of on the peripheries of it. But if you are delving into it, and this is the kind of person that I want to be hitting with this video anyway, because there's going to be people that are going to be really pissed off and angry in this, obviously, about it. And they'll say the same things. I learned a lot. You're a bubble as well. Yeah, I'm a bubble, but my bubble is making you successful and making you hyper-positive, as opposed to, what are they doing there? I know a lot about anarcho-capitalism and what I define anarcho-capitalism to be inside my own head. And I'm the moderator, so I get to decide what anarcho-capitalism is. And no one else on fucking planet Earth cares what anarcho-capitalism is. I'm going to make sure that there's a few people that reinforce my thoughts on this. And if they don't, they're banned, right? Like, it's a little bit different to, how about you take some responsibility in life and have a better mindset? But, yes. The same foundation's there. What I'm saying is the vast majority of it on Reddit is useless shit. People will point to, what about GameStop? I will point to virtually every other Reddit thread in human history. Useless crap. Even when people come up to me and they talk about the self-help principles from Reddit, I think, just read the book instead. Because you're getting it straight from the horse's mouth. You are getting it usually from an actual expert, somebody who has a degree in psychology or who has been doing seminars for 30 years. They're going to have more insights than a bunch of fuckwits that you just say, here's my opinion. And this is the whole thing. If they were of any value, they usually wouldn't be on Reddit. Yeah, you're going to say that there's those AMAs on Reddit. You're going to say that every now and then there's somebody who claims that they're an expert in there. So many people on there are not experts. Experts do not have time to be sitting on Reddit. I am not an expert. I don't have time to be sitting on Reddit. You don't have time to be sitting on Reddit. That's what I'm saying. You should be replacing it with reading something when you have that bored feeling in your head. Because this is the other thing as well. I think that the problem with Reddit is, to be fair to the people that are on it, I think that it does attract a lot of people that are naturally intelligent and also loners. But, naturally intelligent people, but they make themselves dumber by not exposing themselves to more of a subject. And I'm not even talking about different perspectives, is what you're probably thinking. I'm just talking about depth. I'm honestly just talking about depth here. That's what you are depriving yourself of, usually on Reddit. Yeah, shut up with your counter examples, because they're going to be a tiny, tiny proportion. My point is that all the time that you spent on Reddit could have been done on something far more productive than Reddit. Reddit is the same as just perusing the comments of Facebook. That's it. In fact, better, it's worse than on Facebook, because at least on Facebook it's funny boomers. Like when it's on Reddit, is a bunch of people that don't know how to interact with one another face to face, interacting with each other behind keyboards, and you can still tell that they wouldn't be able to interact with you face to face. It is a horrible, horrible environment on many things. Emotionally draining, intellectually draining, and the big one that I think is the problem with it is it's another drainage of time. Do not convince yourself that Reddit is a good use of your time. It is a time killer. You might even refer to it as a time killer, but think about what that is. It is you are depriving yourself of precious minutes that you could be putting into other things. Am I immune to it? No, I waste time all the time. But you have to keep reminding yourself that you are wasting time. Don't get into the bubble. Don't start reaffirming what is already imprinted into your mind, and because it's comfortable going back to it and watching it again and again and again. Yeah? I'm not even talking about breadth here. I'm talking about depth. Speaking of, if you want to go deeper, you can sign up to Jordan Shanks and join my own cult. And then you can sign up, you'll get yourselves 2 extra videos a week reminding you of these things. That's where I keep all the good stuff. Honestly, it's incredible. Now that I've been going back and doing shows again, I've seen just how many people come up to me afterwards and say, I had some crap job at Coles, now I have my dream job, and I have a girlfriend, and before that, I was a loser that thought that the world was against me, and now I don't have any of those things going my way. My life has significantly improved, and you can always see, before they even open their mouths, you can see it in their bodies, or you can see it with people that have just started out. You can see that their body is moving to a healthier place. You can see the confidence behind themselves, and their eyes, even their eyes, they're more switched on, because they have realized one basic thing, which is that you are in control of the results of your life. And that's what Jordan Shanks does. Reminds you of that and gives you all of these great tidbits of giving you things that if you start practicing them, just 1% improvement there, 1% improvement there, it adds up, especially over a lifetime. Don't rob yourself of the gift. You're worth a few bucks a week. Anyway, I'll see you next time.